Now, one of the biggest wicked customer problems about confusion is when you buy insurance, it feels like an inquisition. It just feels like questions after questions after questions. And if you go on to any of the UK sites, on average, there are about 100 questions to buy home insurance. And they're fun questions like, what's the angle of your roof? Who the hell knows? Do you have any trees within a metre of your house or boundary? And trees are fun because they grow, so they don't always stay the same, and they also blow around in the wind. So again, who knows? And I guess the challenge we had was, how do we take away those questions without writing some pretty crap risk and losing a lot of money? And that is a big part of the challenge. I guess what we've done over the last recent times is really worked very, very hard at saying, well, 100 is clearly too many, but how do we get it down to a manageable number, maybe 2 or 3, or in case of existing customers, none at all. And this is a little bit of how we sort of played out.
Tell me, it is your house, isn't it? You've been living there for 7 years.
For the last time, does your door lock conform to British Standards BS 3621?
I don't know. Nobody knows.
Some home insurance questions can feel impossible to answer, so we don't ask them. Get a quote, not a quiz, at Aviva.
And we were one of those. We asked that question 3.5 years ago. I'm not pleased to say that, but we did, along with many others. And I guess it is through the power of data and algorithms and AI that we've managed to get rid of those questions, that one, and a lot of the others. And in the case of existing customers, we are in a position now we don't ask any questions by using the data that we have, and I guess that is accumulated over 327 years. What's another example? Another wicked problem that we all know about is at claims time. Again, it just feels like you're being tortured because you're trying to explain something that you were there in the moment, but actually, for someone like an insurer, we're in the UK, 50% of all the claims have an element of fraud. How do you make sure, again, you don't go bankrupt by paying all the bad ones, but you treat customers really, really well? And I guess in our case, we played with data again, some pretty neat sort of tech, and we developed what we call the dash cam.
I had to react because a horse ran into the road wearing a dress. And who comes chasing after it? A tin man. I would recognise the tin man if I saw him again. Who also had a red dress on. It was more like a kaftan, a tabard, poncho. It's not what you see every day on the way to Aylesbury, is it?
Some things are tricky to explain. So at Aviva, we added a dashcam to our drive app. Search Aviva Dashcam.
And it was fun. It was a real live claim. We've got lots of those funny sort of claim stories. But I guess this morning, 23,000 people would have popped into their car and hit the dash cam, and for them, sitting on the M25 or wherever they are, that would have been a really good example of how to avoid some of those horrible claims experiences. And just something like that, that's linked into our data, that's linked into your product, and if you're a good driver, you get it put back through your premium. Those things are starting to make insurance much, much easier. Now, a few of you in the room might be saying, well, dash cam, yeah, there's lots of dash cams, and you're right, you can borrow that tech. Absolutely. So let's have a look at another wicked customer problem that's a little bit harder. How do we manage loyalty? And in particular, how do we manage the idea that insurance, through AGS, which has helped our industry to a large example, cheap and cheerful first year, hammered on renewal in second, third, and fourth year. And this is the conundrum that a lot of the industry is chasing through. In our case, we launched Aviva Plus.
I'm here to get one of those incredible money-saving offers you do for new car insurance customers.
Hang on. I know you. You're a
New?
Existing customer.
Existing customer.
Why can't we all just be treated the same?
The best prices shouldn't only be for new customers. With Aviva Plus at your next car or home renewal, you'll get the same price or better than if you were a new Aviva Plus customer.
And I guess that with Aviva Plus, we've made a big show and tell of this one because we believe it is truly on the cutting edge of innovation. We've flipped our whole model around and combined the motor and the home and the travel together in one policy. We put the price guarantee on, the fact that as an existing customer, you will never pay more, or better actually, than a new customer to Aviva, which changes the whole pricing dynamic around. But it also includes monthly subscriptions. You can dial the insurance on or off, and you've also got tiers in there, so that we start to help customers actually understand what they have, and they can put a lot of the cover on and off whenever they wish. So I guess those are examples for us of how we are really dynamically changing the customer experience to try and make it much more simpler and easier for customers. And are examples that are not just InsurTech, but very much at the heart of what we do. And I guess underpinning all of that is very much around the idea of also changing our trading and changing our muscles around trading and partnering. And in our case, our trading side of it is very, very different. I was a Kermit the Frog, green, young marketer a long time ago, and we just relied heavily on advertising. In fact, 10 years ago, when you look at the insurance industry, over 90% of all the spend was on tele. You look at it today, 90% of the spend is on SEO or search or whatever it is, optimization. And we know if we can sit there and say, "Hi, Michael, welcome back," we can personalize the price, put it in there wherever you are searching on Google. Our chance of actually you going through to a quote are 2 times higher than just putting a price out there. You don't want to get it wrong. You call Michael, Michelle, and it all goes into flames. But if you get hold of your data, it makes a big difference. Similarly, with the partnering side of it, and in our case, we've used businesses like Wealthify, Neos, Founders to get closer to the partners, because as an industry, we are terrible. We are very feudal. We keep everything in-house. And so partnering hasn't been a good muscle, but slowly, certainly in Aviva's case, we're starting to understand the benefit of partnering much, much better. And I guess underpinning all of that is a real deep belief in getting agility right and different talent. And again, if you're in the insurance industry 10 years ago and you looked around at your peers, it would have been pretty much an acceptance of actuaries, accountants, all good things, technical. If I look at where we are today, we have around about 2,000 people in our direct UK business, 700 data scientists, 700 coders, the designers, and probably 150 odd traders, and about 5 finance people. So the mix has changed, but it's involved a total end-to-end rethink of our model, and very much at the heart of everything has to be agility, has to be agility. Is it working? Well, you know, if you ignore everything that I say and just look at the numbers for a second, over a period of 15 to 18 in our case, which has been a tough period in terms of challenging trading environment to even get 5 or 6% growth, we've over doubled our direct customer base here in the UK to over about 5.5 million customers. The traffic coming in monthly now is knocking on the door of 1 million customers a month. And in terms of new business, we've doubled our new business sales to about 1.5 million per annum over the last 3 years. So look, the numbers are working. Long way to go. But I think, you know, ultimately, we've got a choice. And I think we're making a choice to really change and adapt and highlight that, you know, best of British 327-year-old glorious revolution brands can survive. But it's just the beginning of the journey. So hopefully that's a wee bit of an insight into Aviva and our story. And good on you for making the pink room and lasting till lunchtime. So I'll call it up there. Cheers.